Weather looks to bring a little bit of everything this week. Tensions between Ukraine and Russia continue to tighten, and gas prices won't stop rising. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Tyler Deluca.
And I'm Mady Daddario. We begin tonight with several different warnings about our Oklahoma weather. Meteorologist Hannah Gard is tracking a powerful storm system.
She joins us for first weather with the very latest. Hannah?
Yeah, Tyler and Mady, we're seeing a plethora of weather over the next couple of days. It's pretty much a tale of two seasons, maybe even three when we see some spring weather. But today, really that fire threat. Tomorrow, we'll see a chance for severe storms. And then on Thursday, we could see snowfall. So here's who's going to see what. Most of that severe weather will be down in the southeastern part of the state. We could see that wintry mix, maybe even some snowfall across central Oklahoma. And towards the panhandle is where we'll see the bulk of that snowfall. But right now, our current wind gusts from 30 to 50 miles an hour in the panhandle, very gusty winds. So that's bringing us that fire threat. Right now, we have fire weather warnings across most of the northwestern part of the state in effect until this evening. But we'll see that continue throughout the rest of today. And right now we do have active fires in parts of the state where we're seeing those conditions deteriorating over the rest of the day. But guys, coming up, we'll have more on the weather that we're seeing the rest of this week. We could see all sorts of types of weather. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Hannah. Cleveland County just wrapped a 14-day burn ban on February 7th. But with humidity levels dropping, the county commissioners are reissuing the ban and firefighters are enforcing it. OU Nightly's Zaria Oates spoke with Norman Battalion Chief Stephen Clymer on why the burn ban is in place and how to prep for upcoming severe weather.
Campfires, bonfires, burning grass, and any other fires are all currently prohibited in Cleveland County and 24 other Oklahoma counties as of Tuesday, February 15th.
If the winds are above 10 miles an hour or humidity drops below 40%, then we do not allow burning.
And if you think you can get away with it, Battalion Chief Clymer says absolutely not.
If they're knowingly violating a burn ban or a no burn day, they can be fined for that.
While some think rain or even watering their lawn can help them skirt the burn ban, it won't.
A lot of times we get concerns about, well, it's wet outside on the ground, why can I not burn? Well, that's because the fuels on top of that ground are still going to burn and are readily trying to burn. And it makes it even tougher for us because we can't get to the fires at that point. So whenever we take our brush units off-road, we end up getting them stuck in the mud.
These trucks can carry upwards of 3,000 gallons of water and have a higher probability of sinking than other trucks. On top of avoiding burning right now, Norman is looking at an incoming cold front with potential for black ice. Chief Clymer says the city is preparing for freezing temperatures, but each family should take initiative too.
We have warming shelters through the city for our homeless populations. Have your heating air unit checked out.
Chief Clymer says there are a number of things you can do to stay ahead of the game, like getting groceries, getting your carbon monoxide detectors checked, and staying off the roads to prevent a heavy workload for firefighters. Reporting live, Zaria Oates, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Zaria. There isn't a clear end on the burn ban, so for now, everyone needs to be sure to follow posted burn guidelines.
Russia does not want war. That's the word from President Joe Biden this afternoon. The president addressed the nation today as tensions between Russia and Ukraine continue to rise. Russia says it plans to return some of the troops it has gathered at the border, but will not pull back all of its troops. At this point, no troops have been moved, and intelligence officials fear imminent invasion.
We do not have plans to put them there as well. We're not targeting the people of Russia. We do not seek to destabilize Russia.
Russian President Putin says he will rely on negotiations as he presses to stop Ukraine from joining NATO.
And 9 years after the tragedy, families of the victims of the school shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newton, Connecticut have finally reached a settlement. Brooklyn Sweet has that story and the rest of national headlines from the News Center.
Thanks, Maddie. Today, the families of the 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary finally reached a settlement with gun manufacturer Remington. The 9 families settled the lawsuit for $73 million. The suit claims Remington should be held partially responsible for the shooting due to their marketing strategies. The lawsuit has been in the court system since 2014. Today, the Senate confirms President Biden's nominee for the Food and Drug Administration Commissioner. Dr. Robert Califf has been approved to serve as FDA Commissioner for the second time. Califf took a leave from the position during Donald Trump's presidency. He won confirmation in the Senate in a close 50-46 vote. A new study by the CDC shows that mothers who get vaccinated during pregnancy have a higher chance of protecting their babies against COVID. Researchers say women who receive the vaccine later on in their pregnancies have an 80% chance of protecting their newborns for the first 6 months of their lives. That chance reduces to 32% if they receive the vaccine in an earlier trimester. And the Virgin Galactic Space Company will soon allow people to reserve a ticket for its next space expedition. Tyler, Maddie, back to you.
Thanks, Brooklyn. While COVID numbers continue to decrease, the State Department reports almost 400 new cases today. Currently, there are about 18,500 active cases here in Oklahoma. About 14,000 Oklahomans have died since the beginning of the pandemic, and about 2.2 million people have been vaccinated across the state. And if you filled up your tank lately, you probably noticed a heftier than usual price tag on your gas. Gas prices are rising across Oklahoma, hitting numbers we haven't seen in over 10 years.
Plus, the amount of shopping in America continues to decline. Hear more about the reasons why next on OU Nightly.
Everywhere you look, things are costing more money. And if you're hoping the pain at the pump will end anytime soon, OU Nightly's Audrey Goodson says you might be out of luck.
Gas prices are on the rise. This time last year, a gallon of unleaded gas in Oklahoma cost an average of $2.26. A month ago, that average was $2.94. And today, that average has risen to $3.15.
AAA's Leslie Gamble says high oil prices could be the culprit.
And if you're wondering where you can find the cheapest gas in your area, Gas Buddy says OnQ has the most affordable gas in the metro.
Rental car companies are scoring big due to the demand of travel. And find out how much a Super Bowl ad costs for just 30 seconds. Mecca Thompson has those details and more in Money Matters.
Yeah, rental cars in the U.S. have gotten extremely pricey as people look for ways to travel across the country during the pandemic. The company Avis said that the revenue for the last few months of 2021 rose 90% after their huge loss in 2020. Travel is expected to increase even more this year, which will open the doors for more success in 2022, not only for Avis, but other competitors like Budget and Enterprise. And excessive consumer shopping in the U.S. has dropped to its lowest level in a decade due to inflation hitting bank accounts. America's economy is driven by shoppers who splurge on items like iPhones, luxury cars, and experiences like dining out. The high rates are constantly surging and is a danger to people of low and moderate income households. Wages are lowering and consumer confidence is declining, putting major retailers in the economy at risk. In this year's Super Bowl, commercial ads sold for a record-breaking price. Many Americans watch the Super Bowl on Sunday, but some tune in not only for the game, but for the entertaining commercial ads. Several of the 30-second commercials you watched sold for a record $7 million each. And according to NBC, Super Bowl 56 averaged 112.3 million viewers across TV and streaming services. Maddie and Tyler, could you imagine paying that amount of money for something that only lasts 30 seconds? I know I couldn't.
Yeah, Mecca, I definitely couldn't either, but even just seeing the prices of the tickets for the Super Bowl, I can't say that I'm exactly surprised that it costs that much. And a local shelter is finally reopening its doors. The Norman Food and Shelter is taking volunteers for the first time since the pandemic started.
And Hannah, it seems like everyone should be prepared for just about anything from the weather this week.
Yeah, Tyler. We're still watching that fire threat today with very windy conditions, but tomorrow it will be like a whole different season. We might see severe weather in some places, and by Thursday we could even see snowfall. We'll have more on that coming up after the break.
All right, welcome back to OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us. It's been a busy weather day here in Oklahoma. Let's get right to it. We've got plenty to cover here. 68 degrees out there now. Taking a look at some partly cloudy skies, looking really good out there. Those winds, they are howling out of the south. We are dry. This is going to change as we go throughout the next couple of days. Again, winds are gusting. They are all over the place here. 30 to 40 miles per hour just here in the metro. Just recorded a 45 mile per hour wind gust out in Fort Cobb. This combined with the dry conditions, the dormant vegetation is leading to a fire risk all across the state. That's much of the same. Again, wind gusts from 20 to 30 to 40 to now even 50 miles per hour all across the state of Oklahoma. This has led to a wind advisory. This is now in effect through the end of this evening before we gear up. We get ready for more winter weather as we head into the next couple of days here. So we're talking about lots of different conditions going on. Up there right now, we've got our next storm system out here over California. This is bringing the jet stream up across Oklahoma. This next front will push down as we go throughout the next couple of days. This is going to bring a risk for some severe weather. So Hannah Gard is going to take a look here at your severe weather risk as we continue now into the next couple of days.
Yeah, guys, we are looking at our storm zone here. Most of Oklahoma included in this slight risk for severe weather, and most of the state included in any risk at all. So what we're looking at with timing here for this severe weather tomorrow, if we time this out and we take a look at our radar, this cold front is going to start to move in tomorrow afternoon. We'll see that moving into the panhandle, some spotty showers popping up, and then as we head into Thursday morning, this is going to be very early on Thursday, so be aware of this overnight into Thursday. We'll see a line of storms start to form here. So the tornado zone, once those storms get down into the southern part of the state, that's when the greatest threat for tornadoes is going to be. We're also looking at another hail threat, and that's going to be for most of central and southern Oklahoma. We could see up to golf ball sized hail in some places. Let's take a look at those risks. Our main risks are really going to be that wind and hail. We'd still have that low tornado threat, but once again, if we have 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts with those severe storms and we see fairly large hailstones, we could definitely see that damage that we have seen earlier this year. But coming up, we're going to have more from Colton. Colton, let's take a look at that snowfall chance.
That's right, Hannah. So as we take a look here, as we head into the overnight hours, once the severe storms roll through on Thursday morning, then the cold front will advance behind them. And this is the point where we'll have to start watching for the potential for some winter weather. So as we go ahead, we play out our radar here. You see now as we're heading into Thursday, 8 a.m., you see now the cold front has passed through. The storms have made their way through. And now we're in a changeover period where we're now going from heavy cold rain to winter mix and snow even as we head into Thursday morning. This has the potential to last all the way through Thursday afternoon. So again, as we take a look into our now our watches and warnings, now there is a winter storm watch in effect for the far northern and northwestern parts of Oklahoma. That will go into effect tomorrow night all the way through Thursday evening. And then as we take a look now at our timings here, so overnight Wednesday, 100% chance. This is now for our severe storms. Again, this is overnight Wednesday and into Thursday here. And then as we take a look into Thursday morning, now we're talking about snow again as it changes over here Thursday morning. A winter mix here for much of central Oklahoma, and then the far south and southeast is where we'll see the potential for those severe storms. So taking a look at snowfall totals, we really expect this to change over the next day or so as we take a look at when this cold front arrives. Right now for the Oklahoma City metro, we're looking anywhere between a trace to 1 to 2 inches. The greatest snow totals have the potential to be in the far north. So back to this evening, talking about this evening, we've got upper 60s, really a great evening this evening to get out there to enjoy the weather. By 7 o'clock, you'll be in the lower 60s. We'll dip down into the upper 50s by 9 o'clock before we have lower 50s, upper 40s for our lows tonight. We will be very much above average tonight, and then tomorrow, again, really a 5-star day coming up tomorrow. Upper 60s, lower 70s all across Oklahoma, even middle to upper 70s in the western and the southwest. And then, again, as we look to tomorrow really looking good before we start that 70% chance rolls in tomorrow night. Before Thursday morning, we have a 100% chance. And then as we head into this weekend, we look really good before our next cold front arrives early next week.
Thanks, guys. As Omicron numbers decline, Norman Food and Shelter has reopened its doors to volunteers. The shelter has previously barred non-staff members from volunteering due to COVID-19. However, the service remained open throughout the pandemic, sticking to their promise of opening every single day of the year. Now, for food service director Sunny Hill, she says volunteers are welcome with open arms.
During COVID, that was hard. We didn't have anybody to help at all. I had one other person in the kitchen to help me, and that was it.
Learn how to get involved with Food and Shelter, head to their website at foodandshelterinc.org. And I heard there was thunder at Madison Square Garden last night.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 of the Thunder rookies put on a show in the Garden last night, and some records were broken. 2 rookies with a combined age of 40 put up 58 points at the Mecca of basketball. This and more next on Sports.
Hello and welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Brigg Bates and it's time for sports. The Oklahoma women's basketball team is coming off a Red River rivalry loss this past weekend, 78-63. Coach Jenny and the ladies are looking for revenge as the Texas Tech Lady Raiders head to Norman tomorrow. The Sooners look for the series sweep after already beating Tech once this season, 97-91. The game tips off tomorrow in the LNC at 6 o'clock. Oklahoma men's basketball couldn't hold on this past weekend in Lawrence, falling 71-69 to the Kansas Jayhawks. But the biggest game of the year is here as the Sooners host the Texas Longhorns for yet another Red River shootout. This is the Sooners' toughest stretch of the season as they face their 3rd game in a row versus a top 25 opponent. Coach Moser and the Sooners are calling every student to fill the LNC tonight for the 6 o'clock matchup versus the number 20 ranked Longhorns.
You know, we're not trying to do too much. I mean, I think the message was this, and we've talked about it. A lot of our turnovers sometimes at Oklahoma State and everything was these high degree of difficulty trying to do it themselves. I think the ball's popping, the ball's moving. We control tempo, and so much of it is with Jordan Gowar. I think Jordan's played really, really solid.
The number 1 ranked OU softball team swept the Big 12 weekly honors for the first week of the 2022 season. Freshman Jordan Ball took home Big 12 Pitcher of the Week for her performance on the mound, while Tiara Jennings left off where she started last year, taking home Big 12 Player of the Week with 4 home runs. The OKC Thunder shocked the NBA last night, taking down the New York Knicks 127-123 in the Madison Square Garden. Josh Giddey got jiggy with it last night, dropping a massive triple-double with 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 12 assists. Giddey is the youngest player in NBA history to record a triple-dub in consecutive games, and he doesn't even turn 20 until October. DeMar DeRozan has been on fire lately and is now joining elite company in the record books. DeRozan is putting the team on his back with 6 consecutive games with 35 or more points while shooting at least 50%. DeRozan joins Wilt Chamberlain as the only player in NBA history to do so. DeMar is currently tied with Chamberlain and only needs 1 more to make history. NFL coach Kevin O'Connell is having a pretty good week so far. After winning the Super Bowl on Sunday, the Rams offensive coordinator is taking the head coach position with the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are planning to announce O'Connell as their new head coach on Thursday. The greatest gymnast of all time, Simone Biles, is finally getting married. The USA Olympic legend announced her engagement to Houston Texans football player Jonathan Owens on Valentine's Day. The 2 Houston-based athletes matched on a dating app and have been official since August 2020. Tyler, I've spent some time on those dating apps, and honestly, I'm disappointed I didn't match with Simone myself.
Thanks, Brigg. There really must be love in the air because there is truly no love like a kid and their favorite stuffed animal.
Hear about the fateful reunion of a kid and his stuffed best friend next on OU Nightly.
I'm Morgan Martin at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A missing child has been found alive 2 years after she was kidnapped. Paisley Schultes of New York, who was 4 at the time of her abduction, was located safely following a warrant to search a suspected home. More than an hour into the search, authorities discovered Schultes in a makeshift room under the staircase. She has since been reunited with her older sister. Mady, Tyler, back to you in the studio.
After being separated for about 4 months, a boy and his teddy bear reunited last week.
The 5-year-old was tossing the bear around in the Milwaukee airport shortly after Thanksgiving and accidentally got his stuffed animal stuck in the rafters. Now, mid-February, the teddy bear was rescued from the airport and returned to his rightful owner.
And with a big week of weather ahead of us, Colton, can we get one last look at what to prepare for?
Yeah, we've got lots of wild weather coming up over the next couple of days. We've got severe storms starting late tomorrow and then snow beginning early Thursday morning before we will quickly rebound back into the lower 60s for our Saturday, back into the middle 60s for Sunday, and then 70s come right back on Monday ahead of our next cold front. Mady and Tyler, back to you.
Thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Mass Communication on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
Keep an eye on the weather. While severe weather is expected to impact Oklahoma, we'll have more updates on the weather tomorrow live at 4:30. Good night.